Good morning. Okay, so today is the 8th. Yes, it's the 8th. For the life of the flesh is in the blood, and I have given it to you upon the altar to make an atonement for your souls, for it is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul. Leviticus 17:11. Clearly, blood has a dual meaning. It is the emblem of mortality, that which each human possesses while living on the earth, and that which keeps us alive for a short season. But eventually, it is that which is the means by which we decay and die. Blood is also the emblem of immortality and eternal life, for it is through the shedding of the precious blood of Christ that each of us is able to put off the natural man, have our souls cleansed and purified, and become holy under the direction of the Holy One of Israel. As Paul taught so clearly to his early saints, it is not simply the blood of sacrificial animals which brought remission of sins, but rather the blood of the great and last sacrifice, even the Son of God. One does not exercise faith in an animal, but rather in that which the animal typified. Truly there is power in the blood. I have no thoughts on that one. Okay, so today is Genesis 37 verses 19 through 36. And in this, Joseph's brothers say, "Let us kill him. Here he comes. Let's kill him. Let's be done with him, and we'll see what come of his dreams." But Reuben says, "Do not kill your brother." Reuben's the oldest. Says, "Don't shed the blood of your brother. Are you insane?" And he says, "Just throw him into the pit, and that'll be that, okay?" And it kind of shows that maybe Reuben was like, "We'll get him out of the pit. You know, Dad would be mad at us for a while, but, you know, we won't kill our brother." And then, so Reuben goes, after they throw Joseph in the pit, they tear Joseph's coat off him. They throw him in a pit. It's a dry well. And he goes away to get a rope to pull him out. While he's gone, the guys are sitting there. Of course, Joseph is crying out for his brothers. Wouldn't you? Some traders are passing by. And Judah says, "Okay, let's not kill him. Let's sell him. We'll just sell him then. There's no blood on our hands. He lives. Everything will be great. We'll be good." So they sell him, and then they are pouring blood on his coat to tell the lie to his father that he's been killed. And Reuben returns and says, "Where is he? What'd you guys do?" And they said, "He's gone. Look, here's his coat." They take it to the father. The father is obviously distressed. He mourns for many days. No one can comfort him. And you have to imagine the guilt these men feel. Not guilty enough to turn it into remorse, just guilt. Guilt to hide, not remorse. They could have said, "Okay, we sold him to some Ishmaelites. Let's go get him." No, they didn't do that. All right, so we can talk about the Midianites, but I don't think it really matters. Wages of envy. Envy, jealousy, and greed exact dire penalties. When Joseph's brethren conspired to destroy him, they proved a bleak memorial to a consequence of sibling rivalry and wickedness. Joseph, being favored of Jacob because he was the son of his old age, became a target of malice on the part of his older brothers. Joseph was not reluctant to share his dreams, which indicated his future leadership, something that contributed to his brothers' feelings of jealousy and their selling him into slavery. The story of Joseph shows the results of jealousy, envy, greed, and hatred, yet shows the power of God in all things. Through it, we see the results of envy, jealousy, and greed can be devastating and can result in acts of violence and hatred. The Lord teaches us that where jealousy is, we cannot seek God. All of it was part of the plan. Not that God made his brothers hate him, but that he knew they would hate him. And so he used that for purposes. Let's see. Here's a quote by Gordon B. Hinckley. Ours is the duty to walk by faith. Ours is the duty to walk in faith. Rising above the evils of the world, we are sons and daughters of God. Ours is a divine birthright. Ours is a divine destiny. We must not, we cannot sink to the evils of the world, to selfishness and sin, to hate and envy and backbiting, to the mean and beggarly elements of life. And David O. McKay says, jealousy, hatred, envy, animosity, all such evils you must overcome by suppression. That is where your control comes in. Suppress that anger, suppress that jealousy, that envy. They are all injurious to the spirit. I think that's a very interesting point here, that suppression is the only control you have. Self-control is the only real control. You want to control what this person's doing over here. You want to control the outcome of this situation. You want to control what that person says. The only real control is self-control. You want to control something? Control yourself. Zip your lips. Control your feelings of anger. Control your feelings of annoyance. I know we all have coworkers who annoy us, who get on our nerves, and we would just love, I would just love it if they would stay over there and I would stay over here. But you can't control that. What you can control is your thoughts, your feelings, your words. Self-control is the only real control. And I think once we learn that, situations turn on a dime, Once we realize that we can't control how this person we can't control what this person does, but we can control how it affects us. Oh, my life would be so much easier if yada 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 didn't put this machine yada yada here. You know what I mean? All you can do is control how you react to it. Move the machine. How hard was that? All right. Potiphar. It says they sold him to Potiphar. Potiphar, pronounced Potiphar, meaning he whom Ra gave. Mentioned only twice in the Old Testament, was captain of the bodyguard of the Pharaoh and benefactor of Joseph when he was sold into slavery. When Potiphar's licentious wife sought to entice Joseph, he fled in keeping with his righteous character, causing her to accuse him falsely before her husband. As a result, Joseph was imprisoned. Thus was laid the foundation for Joseph's rise in the eyes of Pharaoh and his eventual attainment to the position of leadership that enabled him to save his family from the effects of regional famine. Now, here's an interesting, his brother's envy and hatred was used to get him into Egypt. The whole goal is to save Israel. Save Israel from the drought. Here's the means. Now, that was based upon, getting him there is based upon his brothers hating him so much. That's step one. Step two is getting him into prison, into a position to help Pharaoh, which is Potiphar's wife, lusting after him. Now, if he had caved, if he had given in to Potiphar's wife, he wouldn't have been in prison. You think it's just this story that's step by step made. He had choices all along the way. And in the podcast it talks about Judah having choices all along the way and how they kind of have a cross section. anyways, we'll get more into that later, I suppose. I love you all. I will talk to you later. That was Genesis 37, 19 through 36. And tomorrow is Genesis 38. See you then.